Hello again. The Ghana Civil Aviation Authority has banned a Delta Airline aircraft with registration N195DN from flying to Ghana. This follows the failure of the company to investigate and address technical issues regarding the aircraft, which left several Accra-bound passengers, including Ghanaians, stranded at the JFK airport on July 24, 2022. The airline crew raised an alert about fuel imbalance with the left main tank of the aircraft. The Civil Aviation Authority said the aircraft was, however, dispatched within the United States despite the red flag. Let's now hear from an aviation expert, Sean Mendes, on what this means for the fortunes of the airline. Sean, thank you very much for joining me this afternoon. Help us understand how an aircraft can actually experience fuel shortage midair.
Thanks for having me. First thing, I'd like to just go into a bit of the technicalities. There wasn't actually a fuel shortage. I'll explain briefly the concept of a fuel imbalance. An aircraft has fuel tanks in both of its wings, the left wing and the right wing. And ideally, the amount of fuel in both wings should be more or less equivalent so that the aircraft does not have a tilt towards one side or the other, and that the controls allow the aircraft to steer smoothly. A fuel imbalance occurs when there is more than an acceptable amount of fuel in one tank than the other tank, and the pumps are not able to transfer that fuel back to recreate the balance. So when that happens, the crew have to evaluate how serious the situation is. And if they deem it to be serious enough, especially before you start a long transatlantic crossing, they would divert or return to their base in order to have this rectified. So it's not as though there was a fuel shortage or anything. There was plenty of fuel on board the aircraft. It was just that possibly the fuel pumps between the two tanks or some other sensors or whatever else was showing the pilots that there was an imbalance, that there was too much fuel in one tank versus the other tank, that they felt it was not smart to continue the transatlantic crossing at that time.
Clarification, Sean. Now, it appears this is the first time the Civil Aviation Authority is actually taking this bold step against any airline. There have been several complaints against, for example, the British Airways sending old aircraft to Accra, yet no action was taken. What do you make of this decision that has been taken by Delta Airline?
Well, I think there are two parts of what GCA has done. The first part is against this particular aircraft. Now, apart from that one incident where there was the fuel imbalance on the way to Accra, that aircraft has actually been involved in at least 3 and possibly as many as 5 incidents on the Accra route, as well as on other routes to Prague and Lisbon over the last 1 month. So there definitely was a technical issue with this aircraft. And of course, Delta has been trying to resolve it. What GCA has said to Delta is, look, we need you to provide us evidence that you've investigated what the fault was and that you've taken the appropriate action to fix this fault. Now, Delta did not respond to that in a timely manner. So GCA has basically said to them, until you are able to satisfy us that you've isolated this problem and fixed it, please do not operate this aircraft to Ghana. And that is exactly what GCA's job is. They are the regulator. They are in charge of safety in Ghana airspace. And until they are satisfied that whatever the problem was with this aircraft has been resolved, that aircraft should not come to Ghana. So they are perfectly within their rights to do that.
Right. So
the rest of the discussion, which is about old planes and so forth, I think is more of a populist PR tactic. There's nothing which says that an old plane is any less safe than a new plane. A well-maintained 25-year-old plane is far safer than a badly maintained 2-year-old plane. So, Delta has been operating Boeing 767s for over 40 years now. They have over 100 of these types and a perfect safety record for them. I have no doubt that Delta knows how to fix this problem. They just need to be able to have the time to sort it out in the middle of the summer season and to provide GCA the relevant documentation. So, no, I don't think this is anything to do with a systemic problem with an older aircraft type or similar. It is one particular aircraft which had one particular problem, and Delta has delayed responding to GCA about it, so GCA has taken the necessary action.
Sean Mendes, grateful for your time this afternoon. He's an aviation expert.